right. Hello, and welcome to Avio's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Happy Monday, trying to get everything put together here, and it's good to be alive and kicking. I hope that you're having a great Monday. Today is the 13th of January, so we are practically halfway through January, and I hope you are having a good start to your year. I know for me, it started off a little slow for the first couple of days, and then it has really jumped off the deep end, and it had been just absolutely swamped. What is interesting is I wasn't feeling too good over the last couple of days, so, managing all of that work coming in and all that stuff can be a challenge. But anyways, back at it today, excited to be here with you. We are going to be talking about something that I think is really, really important, and something that is known in the acting world, especially as a professional actor, that we need to definitely adopt as voice actors. The title of today is called Voice-Over Auditioning Like a Boss. And, it's catchy title, I guess. But the point today is I'm going to talk a little bit about us, and three different ways to up your game when it comes to auditioning. Now, in past videos, I've talked a lot about how I feel there is a part of auditioning that is dying, meaning that, there's sites like Fiverr and like, Voice Jungle and different places, even Voice Realm and now Voice 123. Any of these sites, we're starting to get a lot more business coming to us from samples that we're putting out, like Voquin. And it doesn't mean we don't get private auditions, but it just means that we are auditioning less, maybe, and getting more business. But I think what I realize, of course, with that statement too, is I do believe it, but I also believe that, there's always going to be a place for auditioning. And especially when you are just getting started or you're going through a time where you're not getting as much business as you would like, there has to be something that you can do. And I think being able to audition and doing it well can make a world of a difference in your business, and simultaneously be able to help you build your core, your core base of clientele. So what we're going to talk about today is three different techniques or tips, really, that I think you could use to up your game when it comes to auditioning. Now, the places that, I like to audition on, of course, is, I love to audition on ACX. By the way, we're going to be doing ACX Thursdays this week. We're going to start our first one. We kind of worked that out last Friday on Fiverr Fridays, where on Friday we do, I answer all kinds of questions about Fiverr, and a bunch of questions had come up about ACX, and I was like, well, let's do a ACX Thursday, so I'll be doing that on Thursday. But ACX is a great place to audition, especially when you're just starting out, because the barrier to entry is very low. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a professionally done demo. You don't have to even have a website or anything like that. I mean, honestly, when I first started out, as I've talked about, I just started auditioning on ACX, so that's a great place to do it. Of course, the P2P sites are probably your most prominent ones because they are set up to audition. A lot of the free sites that you can get on, there are some places that you can definitely audition, but it's kind of one of those things where you don't, they're about bringing business to the site and marketing on their own, and then through what you've put on there, that's kind of what has been going on with those sites. So Voice 123, Voices.com, those types of places, the Voice Realm, they're great places to actually get work sent to you for auditioning purposes. Now, there's other places like Upwork where you submit proposals, and yes, you can audition on there, but it's not necessarily as prevalent as those couple of sites I just mentioned. So let's dive into this. Three different things that I think that have changed my I guess if you want to say conversion rate when it comes to auditioning. The big thing, one of the biggest things that I changed right away, or that made a huge change right away with me getting work, was the number of submissions I actually made when I was auditioning. So, for example, when I first started off auditioning, you get a file, you read it, you send it. Okay. Well, I started doing 3. So meaning that for every audition I did, I submitted 3 different reads. Okay. So it's all in the same file. All right. So the same file, but I started doing 3 different takes with different tonalities. All right. Different variations in pitch, just 3 different feelings to the work. And what I found is that it really gave the people listening a nice variety of what you can do. Because, for example, if you're only doing one audition and doing one read through, you might have the perfect voice for them, but they're not feeling exactly how you are saying the words. And they can't talk to you, through an audition. They can't see you. So they don't know, what you can and cannot do. All they can do is base it off of that one, couple of seconds audition that you did. So the more you can offer in that audition, all right, the better. And if it's, an audition pieces don't take too long usually, so it's okay to offer more than just one read. All right. So I found that was one of the biggest things that helped me move my business forward. And that was offering 3 different auditions within one audition take. Okay, so that's one. By the way, if you have any questions, comments, or anything, always feel free to post them in the group, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram as well. I got Instagram over here on my phone, and of course, live streaming on everywhere else. So the next thing, let's go into number 2. Number 2, the thing that I see a lot of people doing is, and I don't know why, but I think a lot of us have an aversion to doing too much work necessarily for free. And a lot of times we feel worried that if we do a professional quality audition and do the script that they've sent us, that we're going to get ripped off and they're going to just take it and not pay us and all of this stuff like this. Now, am I saying that never happens? Absolutely not. I don't ever want to say never. But what my second tip to you is you really need to make sure that you are, I'm noticing, by the way, the internet seems to be going wonky here, back and forth. But anyways, the second tip is make sure when you submit your auditions that they are the absolute best quality that you can submit. Don't submit raw files unless you are specifically asked for that. I see this happen a lot. People submit files or they submit them with very little editing or mastering or anything like that. Submit a file as if it was the very best thing that you can do. Make it the best you can do, because that is what they are judging you on. And, I can't tell you as many times that I've heard, people tell me, especially friends that I've started to gain who listen to auditions and stuff, who are casting directors, about how they hear just really poor quality auditions. Not the read themselves, but the actual production quality of, noise in the background. It doesn't sound like it was professionally done. So you have to think that every time you send out something, okay, it must be the very, very, very best that you can do. Don't send out raw files. Like I said, unless you are specifically asked for them, don't send out raw files. Make sure they are completely edited, completely mastered, completely formatted right, okay? Let's see. So that is, sorry, Steve's is the face made for radio. Yes, the face made for radio. Next, what's up, Brian or Walter? It's good to see you. The third thing I want to say is, and this is when I first started off today talking, I talked about professional actors. Part of learning the name of the game, with what we're doing is auditioning, right? But is that becomes the job, and the actual fun part is when we actually get to do voiceover work. So if we step back and take like a 20,000 foot view of everything, we start to look at this as a numbers game, right? It begins to be a numbers game when you've got everything dialed in and you're ready to go, you're ready to get business, right? It becomes a numbers game because let's be honest, no matter how talented you are, okay, you're not going to get every job because we don't fit every job. So because of that, we have to understand that it becomes the amount of work, amount of auditions that you're getting out there to get to the people who are looking for your specific voice, your specific tone, whatever mood you have that day, because you know as voice actors, we're in different moods and different things can come out. What time of day you audition, right? Whether it's the morning or the evening, then the afternoon, you know that changes our voices too. Okay, all of these things matter so that when you're pumping out numbers, okay, you begin to widen the net and give you a better chance. You know, I mean, and we all know this, right? We all know we have a better chance of getting a job if we do 100 auditions than we do with just doing 10. But using these other couple of things I just said about making sure that you add 3 reads into each one of your auditions, and also that each one you send out is the very, very best quality that you can. Okay, it's going to take you some time, especially if you're just starting out, to build up your ability to do more and more auditions at one time. But it needs to become a part of your process. Okay, it has to become what you are trying to do is to always get as much out there as possible, as long as it's the quality, like I just mentioned with the 3 reads. But unless you do that, you're not going to see numbers. And by the way, if you are just doing a couple, all right, and you notice that you haven't gotten any work, well, it doesn't mean that you suck. It doesn't mean that there's no work out there for you, all right? It could possibly mean that you're just not doing enough auditions. You haven't come across your sweet spot yet, or you haven't found the people looking exactly for what you are doing. You know, another thing that I did, is I collect a lot of data. Any of those who know me, I like to collect data. I like to listen to customer feedback to see what I'm doing that they're really liking or why they're hiring me in the first place, so that I can use that data and, tailor my business more towards that. So one thing that I did that I put out a lot is why did you hire me? And a lot of the data I get back is because of one of the slots on my demos, right? So what I started to do was, because of that feedback I got, I started to lead each one of my auditions off with that particular style of read, okay, that I have on my demo that I gained like tons and tons of feedback on. And lo and behold, that also started helping me get more work. And it was funny because I looked back at my previous business, and what I realized is that I wasn't doing that. I wasn't leading off with a particular tone that I was getting a lot of the work for, maybe on another platform. So starting to do that changed my whole trajectory of the work I was getting on other platforms, right? Then from that and putting out that demo too and those samples, I started getting more requests for private auditions, and now I started getting, more and more people are messaging me through email and LinkedIn and stuff. But anyways, that's for another story. But the point is that making sure that you are doing those 3 things, but that you are doing enough samples, enough auditions, trying to collect as much data, doing those things that I said for you to do, that will help you get more work. Let's say that you've done 200 auditions if you not got a job yet. Do you quit, or you do 500 more? All right, that's a great question, right? That is another question that I think I get a lot. Anthony, I've done a couple hundred auditions on Voice123 or Voices.com, and I've not gotten any work. This sucks. I don't think it's a good use of my time. So I think that question boils down to, do you want to get that type of work where you're auditioning and then you're going to get work through that? Okay, or do you want to focus on getting work that's coming into you by you putting out samples and so forth? So those are 2 different things. But if you want to do the auditioning route, which is what we're talking about today, then you need to do the 500 more auditions. You need to continue to audition despite what you have not got. You need to keep going. keep going. Because how do you know, right, that your, the 300th or the 400th audition doesn't put you on a string that gets you 10, 20, 30 jobs in a row? You don't know that. Right now, you might say, well, logically, when do I know how to stop? Like, when do I know I've done so many auditions, this isn't working? Well, I think, okay, that if you've done a couple hundred auditions, all right, it is a good time to not stop auditioning, but to start looking at perhaps maybe trying different styles of reads, trying to listen to some other demos on the sites you're auditioning and people that are getting hired and what it sounds like they're being hired for. All right, like start to do some research about what's happening with other people and see if you are matching up with that. Okay, it's a great way. I mean, we have no problem. There's so many voice actors available for us to listen to. We're all available for each other to listen to because we're on the sites. All you got to do is listen to it. And most of the sites put the top sellers right at the top, right? So, we can hear what they're doing that people are buying from. And all we have to do is learn how to utilize the tones that they're using, not impersonate them, but, be able to imitate the styles in which they use, because that's what people are looking for. I mean, we are in a service business. We are trying to meet the client's needs. All right. So anyways, that's my spiel. Use those 3 tips to audition and audition a lot, especially if you want to go down that route of getting that type of work. It's great work, but you do have to do it a lot in order to make it happen. And you have to know that you're going to be auditioning every single day for a long time until you build up the clientele where they will just continuously come to you. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and open it up to questions, comments in the chat. And let's see who we've got. We've got a bunch of people over here on Instagram. We've got Julie, we've got Walter, we got Cherry. Well, I like that. Cherry G. We got Marie. What's up? It's good to have you guys. Let's see. We've got Joe over on YouTube. Good morning, sir. We got Jessica on YouTube. We've got Big Jim. We've got Colin on Facebook. What's up? We've got Ritsky who says, watch at that address. All right. We've got YouTube Too Rich to Miss. What's up? And we've got Steve. Hey, what's up? DK. What's up? We've got DJ. Axe up. Greetings from across the pond. Sweet. We got Alan from YouTube. DJ X. Yes, you know what? You think the stream is down? Yeah, something happened where we were going, and then all of a sudden I saw all the numbers dropped off. So what happens on here is that it allows me to see how many people are viewing live at a time, and there was one part where it looked like it had dropped off, and then the screen was kind of going wobbly. So I apologize about that. Let's see. Steve says, hello, sir. The face made for radio. That's right. Zach, not at the day job today, so I can check in more easily. Nice. So it's not just me that's having issues with the stream today. No, yep. Let's see. Any questions here? Has been loading since I had the first message. I'm having issues. Steve, going back to something you said earlier, do you always read the full script for the audition? Providing top quality audio, they could use the audition without paying you. And also, some of them post like 4 long paragraphs for an audition script. Great question. So I have a couple, Steve. I want to give you my 2 cents. And by the way, this is just my 2 cents. There's always someone else's 2 cents, all right, that's worth just as much, but I'm going to give you mine. All right. The first part of this is, do you read the full script for the audition? I usually, if it's a long script, no, absolutely not. I do not read the whole script. I think for me, I'll read like maybe, depending on how long the paragraphs are. Like if we talk about paragraphs, meaning like full, like 7 to 10 sentence paragraphs, that's one thing. But if you're talking about a paragraph does, 1 to 2 sentences or, each spaced line, that line that's spaced out, you know what I mean? I will read at least, under a minute or so of something, or I never try to read more than 2 minutes no matter what. That's a long one for me. So I audition pretty easily. You know what, to be honest, Steve, I audition until I feel like I've given them what they need to hear. Whether that's short, depending on how long the script is, but I never usually do the full script ever. Really for purposes of, I don't need to. But also, yes, if they post an entire script, you don't want to do the whole script. I mean, that's true. And you don't want to entice people to end up just using your whole work without paying you. Okay, but to move on to your second question, though, and this comes from the bottom of my heart, man. I really feel like you shouldn't worry about that. Unless we are dealing with, unless we have identified that, hundreds of thousands of dollars of our work is being stolen by this group over here that we're auditioning for. I mean, you gotta take some leaps of faith. And that's just my personal opinion. Okay. And not worry about if people stealing your work, just audition. And if you are really worried about it, take this little tip. On your free time, record something of you saying, this is a sample. This is a sample. Okay, record that. And then simply when you do an audition, add that in a multi-track underneath, lay it underneath the track so that it plays and you can reduce the volume, but you can play it background and says, this is an audition. This is a sample or something like that. So it plays quietly in the background, but it would be enough that they couldn't necessarily take it without getting rid of that, which they won't be able to when you render it. Does that make sense? So you can do that as well if you feel like you just want to completely, knock that off of the board. Or what you can do is you can read the entire audition and then take out a chunk. So like part of it's missing. Do you know what I'm saying? So there are many ways that you can, do that. What I do is I never read more than like half of whatever they send me, unless it's a really small chunk. Do you know what I mean? Where it doesn't make any sense. But that's my 2 cents on it, Steve. I hope that helps. There's a couple of different ways you can go about it, but those are my ideas, okay? All right, let's see. Big Jim says, thanks, bud. Got to go. Need to audition. Absolutely. Ben, it might also be worth investing in someone to audit your sound if you've done 200 auditions without booking. Ben, I love that. Absolutely. And actually, Ben, too, and thanks, Ben, bringing it up. It's actually a really good idea for you to audit your own sound. What I mean by that is how much time. And I want to pose this question to you because I was actually blown away myself about this. How much time do you actually spend listening back to your work one right after the other? Not a work that you just did and you listen through it to make sure you're editing it and everything. But I mean like let's say you take 10 things the last 10 things that you've done. How many times have you put all those 10 things and listen to one right after another and simply listen to how it sounds to you? I wonder if you do that. I know for me, I didn't have time to do that stuff because I've been so busy. But then I go back and I listen to it and I think, wow, when I listen to the work that I'm actually putting out, and by the way, the work that you actually put out is really good to listen to if, you have work that you're putting out, just to audit yourself. All right. I mean, I think that's a great idea. And then I agree with Ben. I think getting someone else to audit you as well. But please be careful. And I've always said this, and I feel this again. In posting randomly your stuff into groups, it's not a bad thing. It's wonderful. We have a wonderful Facebook group, but you're going to get a lot of different people telling you a lot of different things. And if you're just starting out, you might not know which things might be detrimental to you or which things might be, beneficial, which means that you need to try to find someone, okay, that you can trust in order to do that. Yes, that can be a coach. Absolutely. If you need a voice coach, I think everybody should have a coach. All right. Everybody in their career should have multiple coaches. I've already had multiple coaches. All right. And I coach a lot of people. All right. In voiceover. So I think that's a really important thing. But I do think you should try to find some people that you trust. When I say trust, you trust that what they will say to you is beneficial. And you do that through research, et cetera, and following them. But I just be careful when you post in groups, because I've seen some people post stuff in groups and it was just like after the comments, I mean, I'm surprised that person would ever want to do voiceover again. Now, If you're a person who doesn't have a problem taking really harsh criticism without someone helping to find the positives, that's okay too. We got to have a thick skin. We're performers, but we all coach a different way. So just be wary. But I totally agree with Ben. Auditing yourself and finding someone else to audit you would be a wonderful thing, especially at that point, because we can't always hear it ourselves. Let's see. John says, so listen to and analyze their reading technique is a good strategy. So listen to and analyze their reading technique is a good strategy. Absolutely. We're talking about the other people. Absolutely, it's a good strategy. Absolutely. I mean, think about it. Every famous writer, every famous actor, every person, athlete, all right, they have people that they have studied and they've looked up to, all right, and they've tried to emulate. Now, remember, I'm not talking I'm not telling you to impersonate, meaning I'm not trying to tell you to sound like them unless you're an impersonator, right? But I'm telling you to, look at these people and what people are being successful at, okay? And don't reinvent the wheel, okay? Don't reinvent the wheel. All right, because it works. All right, so let's see. Too rich to miss. Or it could be something with the audio processing, audio quality, not hitting the vocal tones wanted, etc. How do we know that it is not something that we are doing incorrectly? By doing different things and seeing what is working. So perfect example for me, man, I was doing a lot of auditioning and things were not working. And then as I got, it seems like this always happens to me, I get frustrated and it forces me to stop and take a really deep, existential look at what I'm doing and say, okay, stop. What am I actually doing? Is this actually working? What if it's not what I should be doing? Let me do some comparisons. Things are working over here, but they're not working over here. Or this is working for this person. Why isn't this working for me? What are they doing? What am I not doing? What am I doing here but not doing there? You know what I mean? I ask a whole bunch of questions. Okay? And then as I search for those answers, I always come to realizations. Okay? The last big realization I came to was my auditioning was not matching up with what I was actually having in my demo that I was getting hired for. Okay? So that was just something that was, and here's the crazy thing. Just because I think something should be done a certain way doesn't mean that's what the client wants. And even if I think my way is better, I'm not the one hiring me, the client is. So what you need to do is you need to test out different ways, ask the right questions about why you're not doing this, why someone else is, what could you try differently? Okay, because we don't want to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expect different results, right? And that's insanity. Okay, so that's a great question. Keep pushing, keep trying. Let's see. We got over 150 auditions on Voice 123 without a job there, but since I'm paid up until summer, I may as well heed this advice and keep it up. Thanks for the inspiration. Absolutely, Zach. My suggestion is, Zach, too, just like what we talked about, try some new auditioning, some new tones in your voice. Make sure you're doing at least 3. All right. And try out different things if it's not working for you. Okay, because the people we're auditioning for, they're not going to give us feedback. In fact, most people don't ever give us feedback unless it's absolutely required by the platform. And even then, we don't get all the feedback, okay, because people are busy. They don't feel like they always need to give us feedback. So we have to kind of either kind of like what Ben said, work with other people to help us audit, whether it's voiceover coaches or whatever, or we need to be able to find some trusted friends or colleagues that can help us, audit our own stuff. Okay, because what you think is good might actually sound different. You know what happens a lot is people set up what they're hearing isn't what everyone else is hearing. So when they submit it, they think it sounds a certain way, but actually everyone else is hearing something different, right? So that's something real. Okay, and that happens a lot. So it does help to have someone else listen to your stuff. All right, let's see. Working on website to start and build now. Good morning. Awesome, Steve. Mark. Hey, Anthony. What's up? What's up, man? Let's see. Philippe, using ACX, you've mentioned you like doing summary books. Other than summary as a keyword search, do you use other words or phrases? Actually, you know what, Philippe, especially if you were just starting out, this is again my personal opinion. When I first started out, or when I was Rockman, I did whatever came. I auditioned for everything, except I didn't audition for the erotica stuff, but I auditioned for everything else. And if I got it, great. If it was fiction, if it was nonfiction, if it was summary books, it was whatever, all right? It was how to build an engine. I auditioned for it because I wasn't being stingy. I just wanted to work. I didn't care what it was. And it's not until I've gotten to this point in my business where I have so much work coming from different places that now I can be picky about what I do and what I don't do. But when I first started, I couldn't be picky. I had to work. I just did everything. I auditioned for everything. So my suggestion to you is don't even type in keyword. You just click all those boxes on ACX. And when you push, you push the button. The only thing I would say where I would look is you have to determine, and I think if you're first starting out, a great rule of thumb is try to stay underneath 5 hours. Doing books longer than 5 hours, there's nothing wrong with it, of course, especially if you can get a nice finished hour rate. But, it's hard. It is hard. Audiobook narration is hard. The stamina you need to have for that is hard. All right. And if anybody lies to you and tells you different, I mean, they're completely lying. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time. All right. And you got to be able to keep going. So I always try to, look for shorter books just because I'm always concerned about how much time I'm spending versus how much money I'm going to make. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you really want to make an income, you've got to determine on ACX, do you want per finished hour rates or do you want royalty? And also, there's royalty share plus. That's where you can get royalties and you can get some money. So you really need to think about what you're trying to actually accomplish on there. But I like to try to stay under 5 hours. In fact, I think it's 3 hours or under, 6 hours. And then I think it goes up to 10. I'm not sure after, but I know there's the 3 hours and under one, which I usually click because I don't want to do more than that. But that's just me. That's just me, All right. So, and you're going to hear different advice in different places. I promise you that. Let's see. Eric, really encouraged by Steve, who said Anthony Pica is right and hang in there on Fiverr. It just takes time. Absolutely. Thanks, man. John, brilliant idea. Oh, I see. Walter, especially when you want chapter 1 to sound as good as the last chapter. Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about that. Wolf Creek Audio, what's up? Let's see. Thank you. Always a question in the back of my mind. I will always provide top quality audio. Good tips, Anthony. Thanks, man. Colin, success is built by completing mundane but important tasks on a consistent basis. Build the house one brick at a time. Absolutely. Steve, would you mind giving a good top 10 sites to start auditioning on? I just started in October. Yes, Steve. You know what's interesting? I've had multiple people. I'm going to make a video on that, the top 10 sites for this new 2020 we're in that I think that you could use and that I use. So I'm actually going to make a video about that separately and go into each one. Okay? So I will definitely do that, ma'am. Thank you for that. Boss Cyanide, what's up? Any tips for the Voice Realm read? Planning on getting that in motion this week. Absolutely, man. Those 3 things, and I know maybe people were missed it because of some of the internet problems we had. But though on Voice Realm, absolutely. Now, the thing about Voice Realm that I like, they say that they maintain a smaller number roster and, that they're sending out not to everybody auditions so that you have that each voice actor has a better chance of getting work. I know specifically for me, I've gotten... that's one of the major pay-to-play sites for me personally that I've gotten work, and I've gotten great paying work on Voice Realm. Other people hate Voice Realm, can't stand it, and I've found out because of what I do that different countries feel very differently about the Voice Realm than we do maybe in the US, like maybe in the UK, maybe feels a little differently. But the point I'm trying to make here is that make sure you're putting out that was like miscellaneous information that you didn't ask for. Put out 3 different reads, all right, in one file. All right. Make sure that you put that out every time you do it. Make sure that it is top quality. Also, I believe you need to put out an MP3 at 128. 128, I believe. And make sure you look at what they require you to put out as well. When you submit it, don't slate your work at all. Don't even mention your last name. I use my first name, but you're not supposed to slate the work or anything like that. And don't be afraid to use their customer service, meaning they got that little tab on the bottom if you have any questions. They're pretty good at answering them. Do as much as you can. Keep up with it. They do offer private. You can get like I've gotten many private auditions where I've gotten work from them where they'll send you a private audition. But for the most part, you get auditions in your inbox just like any other place and you audition. So follow those things the best that you can make it. Try out different things. Make sure there's 3 different reads within one file that you send in per the audition. By the way, don't write a book on the when you're sending them the message with your audition. Just write something short and to the point. Thanks for the opportunity. I look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Anthony. Or Happy Tuesday. Thank you for the opportunity to audition for your for this job. Hope to hear from you soon, Anthony. Don't write a book about your life story, okay? Because you just want to make it sweet and to the point. All right. Now, I have had some benefit though of if I went the extra mile. You know what I mean? You can go like to a website and learn more about the company and so forth, and that does help, absolutely. But that's up to you about the time basis that you have. But like I said, short and sweet. Think about the time that they have, all right, and make sure you follow those couple of rules that I just gave you. All right, good. Good luck with that. Keep us posted. John says it sounds hard. I'm not sure which one sounds hard. What you mean, John? Brilliant. I think probably because I was talking before and I don't remember. All right, let's see what Ben says. Hey, Zach, it might be worth taking note of how many people have auditioned before you, or if it is voice 1, 2, 3, what percentage of talent bracket you fall into. Keep note of how many of your auditions have been reviewed, opened. Also, remember there are also 4 tier levels of talent seeing those auditions before you. Don't be too discouraged. Absolutely. That's the real truth. But that's the that's the downside to those sites, in my opinion, unless you pay, like example, Voice 1, 2, 3, unless you pay for the platinum, which you have to submit a application for that after you've been on there for a year, I think, and done some work on there. But, that's true. If you're like the 1,000th or the 2,100, like how many people have seen it? It can be ludicrous. So to think that you're gonna win something after they've listened to 150 auditions and they only wanted 10, it can be hard. So that's what we call cattle call auditions. But that doesn't mean you give up, because that's the kind of like that's like the work we have to do in the beginning. It's what we got to step through in order to get the clients, so that after a while, those clients keep coming back to us. So we have to audition less and less. But absolutely, yep, Ben's absolutely right about that. Philippe, awesome. You the best, Anthony. Greatly appreciate you here. Thanks, man. Angela, what's up? John, Angela, are you at work? John, thanks for the session tonight. I refer to those as the continuous professional development sessions. Awesome, man. Be careful with Voice Realm. If you don't audition for the ones they send you, the throttle the auditions you receive. Yeah, see, Ben's in the UK. I know how the UK feels about Voice Realm. And I don't blame them. I just know. So let's see. Michael, hi all. Zach, thank you, sir. Boss, thanks, man. Awesome. Simone, hey, Anthony. How do you do directed reads, Skype, some other way? Is it expensive? Okay, so good question. You can make it super easy. So Phone Patch, and I think I've done a video on it. So I've done a video on Phone Patch. Also live directed. You can use Skype. You can use Zoom. Of course, a standard. It depends on if you're talking about just being directed and you recording, then yes, something like Skype. You can even use Google. You can, use Zoom. You can use a whole bunch of different things, right? I think you can use WhatsApp. You can use all kinds of stuff to video stream to be directed, or you can use a phone patch. You can be on a phone. I mean, you can literally be on a phone. You can, again, do a phone call through Skype. That's usually, but in the end, it's really what your customer wants. It's what they can do, right? So if they ask you to do Skype, you need to have Skype. If they ask you to do Zoom, you should really have Zoom. If they ask you to do, something else here, you should be able to have that there. That's really, really, really important. So the thing here is that, I personally do a lot of directed sessions, and I like them because it helps on the back end with like timing and understanding what the client wants. I just get it in my booth. I, either pull them up whatever way they want and do it. Now, if they want you to actually record it on their end, right? Then you need to have the other software and things that go along with that, like, IP diddle, or, there's IPN and all the different things that go into them, doing that, which I do those as well. Okay. And it's really super easy to, connect with those kinds of things, and they're not super expensive. I was just looking down here, like Source Connect has become like the thing. All right. And you get software over the internet. Those are not terribly expensive. I mean, you can license Source Connect for like 30 or 40 bucks a month, and which is what I do. And that allows you to connect with another studio, and they can actually record you with a really amazing quality, through their studio while you're recording in your studio anywhere in the world, and connect with different people. So, yeah. So those are two different things, but directed wise, it's actually could be free. Yeah, good question. Let's see. Discord. Simone, right? Ben, I have made several grand from Voice Realms, laugh aloud, so I'm not against them, just things I've noticed. I got you, Ben. Was saying it sounds hard to do long audiobooks. Yeah. Best thing about directed sessions are any pickups are chargeable. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, because, you know exactly what they want, and you've done what they want, so if they want something different, you know that they're going to have to pay for it. Simone, Source Connect, cool. Thank you so much. Have a happy day. Absolutely. Well, hey, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys watching as always. If you have a moment, please make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like button, like, retweet on Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you follow me, hit the like button. It's good to see you all. Well, actually, I don't see you, but I imagine you sitting there diligently. Anyways, I will talk to you tomorrow, and also please make sure that you check out the Fiverr Elite group. It's an awesome group that we meet every weekend. If you're looking to grow your business there, and you can either find that in the description below when I'm done, or you can go to www.avosjourney.com. That's AVOS journey.com. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Angela. I like the double face. All right, bye, you guys. See you